What we have before us in this 14th file by the Mancharians, where the issue of victims versus volunteers has come up and is briefly elaborated on, and how is time to be understood in its apparent linear fashion. The information is taken from the question and answer book The Mancharians Newest Civilization. All sessions were recorded in 1995 in Tempe, Arizona. We offer these audio files as a free gift under the Creative Fair Use copyright rules. The text in spoken words may therefore be freely copied, distributed, and stored in any electronic format, provided no text is altered and the author's names are not removed from quotations of any length. All commercial copyrights are reserved by the publisher. Director: the powers that rule the world on this planet have created many billions of victims among their brethren, and this is because they misuse power and influence with which they rule. How can we reconcile this with the idea which says that there are no victims, there are only volunteers? Mancharians, we believe we have just answered that question. We do not, however, get ourselves interconnected with your governmental parliamentary influences over the people. We are not messengers. We have come to bring truth as our dutiful prospect unto your people. Director: so you agree, there are no victims. Am I right? Mancharians: here again an individual concept of trying a trickery practice. We will state unto you this one thing: perform yourself into higher realms by reconnecting your body, your DNA molecules, feed them into your coding process and get yourselves put back together. How can you in the least expect to bring a world into living prosperity and one consciousness when you are all so fragmented? We do not and do refuse to get into any kind of debate over governmental policies whatsoever. Is that clear? Director: thank you. How is time perceived throughout this particular universe? You have stated you have no concept of time in your realm. Mancharians: here we deal again with the mass. As the frequencies are massed together, you understand, the molecules and the atoms which make up all the molecules as they are encompassed together, as we were describing paint being a hard color, so it is with time. The time essence in fact compiles itself. It compiles itself into a tight ridge held down and together by what we could direct you to think of in concept as a time line. That is a line which is above, holding the time in between. If you should rise through the time, or you do any traveling out of body, you will find that when you go through the time barrier, rather before you have finished with the time barrier, you look down and you can see the earth itself with its continents and waters. As you carry on, you go through and enter through the timeline as your body filaments and spreads out in molecular fashion. Here we're talking about the special body for traveling, your astral body indeed, and can travel the speed of light. This is why to many it appears to go through vortexes when in actuality it makes itself as a vortex, but hasn't impeded through the directional resources provided, for it is not to that point in time yet, you see. And so, as you go up in the frequencies, so time does break down because time is a mass. This you must understand. This concept is rather elevated perhaps at this time. But time is indeed a mass, and as the frequencies alter mass, so do they alter all mass. Would it be right if they would alter the mass, as the earth passes through into the fifth dimension? Would it alter indeed the mass without altering the atmospheric mass? Not so. Therefore, would it leave out the time mass? Anything held down? Not so. Director: I guess the reason these concepts are so difficult to understand is because we live our life and our life experiences in a linear fashion. Could you elaborate on that somewhat? Mancharians: linear would be a wonderful straight word to throw down the drain for the carburetor to eat up, for these type of linguistics individualistic concepts and understanding of your people hinder them. As they try to stand up they bounce their heads against that linear line. There is no need to lie in a coffin and shut the lid. We have seen other cultures practice breaking down the linear wall. And one way is through astral travel, because their consciousnesses take in a larger dimensional purpose and understanding. As they look around, they do not look just straight, but their eyes seem to look in all directions at once, and this gives them a better understanding of the words you have of all seeing. We have no lines, you must remember, there is nothing in the universe, which is made up of straight lines. Not one line is straight. Have you ever seen a straight atom? Director, never. Mancharians, well then, have you seen a straight molecule? I'm sure you've seen a straight molecule. Director, no. Mancharians, exactly. Then if all these, which are the beginning concepts of thought which form dualities, do form into patterns, then, if all are round or curvature, then how on earth can you have a straight line? Even straight lines are made up of round atoms, which form molecules. Isn't this silly? Here with a straight line made of nothing but curved lines, here again we have a duality. Here we have imagination, and here we have as many as your magicians that you watch on TV and perform their wondrous acts. What is it you call it? Director, magic? Mancharians, there was another word, indeed. Director, trickery? Mancharians, how about the word illusion? All straight lines are illusions. So, if man is to stop bumping his head against the concrete slab to keep knocking sense into his head, and the concepts out of his head which are complete error, then this would it not be a good beginning to simply understand that even straight lines are made of roundness? Director, interesting. I have no further questions. Mancharians, we are the Mancharians. We have come with an important work for your people. And here we mean to state unequivocally a work for your people to do, not such as we are working, but we bring work for them to do by stretching their minds and being honest and truthful within their beings. Thank you for your participation with your people's questions. Good night. Director, end of file 14. Our presence on internet is freeearthsystem.net. My presence on Facebook is facebook.com/Sentana-Ries. It is our intent to present to you listeners the words of the Mancharians from the book The Mancharians Newest Civilization in audio segments of approximately 5 to 9 minutes in length. Happy listening.